Hello, my name is Matthias Cavodia. Welcome guys to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Marvel Comics Presents. It was a comic book series that went on for a real long time. It had a long run time. And curiosity to it is that each issue actually had parts of 4 stories all cut up. And when I was a kid, the first time I entered a comic book store, I went directly. I saw this cover literally, saw Wolverine. I thought this was a Wolverine comic book. And I was so pissed off when it opened up and I saw there was one of 4 stories in the comic book. And also remember not liking Sam Kieth's art when I was a kid. It wasn't my cup of tea. And now I think it's just one of the best things ever. The detail that Sam Kieth uses in his illustrations is just jaw-dropping and a real treat. So the first story, it's written by Peter David and by Sam Kieth does the art. And the really interesting thing is, here we have a couple of really interesting artists here. In the second story, we have Scott Lobdell as the writer, and Jay Lee is the artist. Then in the last story, we have stories written by Dan Slott and art by Joe Madureira. That I sat down to read this, and I thought it was Art Adams, but when I was really surprised to see it was Joe Madureira in the first place. So let's get into seeing what went down in each one of these stories. They're a lot of fun. So the first one, as I said before, Sam Kieth, really trippy artist, style very much his own, but each page, just look at this. This is just an incredible job. Wolverine is confronting for the first time Cyber in a comic book story. Both of these characters obviously have a past. They really hate each other. And the really cool thing about Cyber is that Wolverine is afraid of Cyber. He does not want to confront this guy. So that's sort of like the novelty. Like Wolverine, even though he's a small dude with the claws, he never backs down no matter who. He goes toe to toe with Hulk and he's not afraid. But he doesn't want to clash with Cyber. Cyber's whole body is covered in adamantium and claws that when the poison interacts with Wolverine's system, he starts hallucinating. For some reason, every single dog in my neighborhood is barking. I really hope we're not going to have an earthquake or something like that. So basically, Wolverine's he's just pretty much afraid. He doesn't want to confront Cyber. In our second story, it's really curious. This one's the one illustrated by Jay Lee. We have Beast teaming up with Constrictor. Of all the characters, like I would never imagine both of these guys teaming up. Constrictor was contracted into taking down Beast. I don't remember what happens that leads to both of these characters having to team up and work together. Red Ghost is also involved, the classic Fantastic Four villain. And these werewolf cyborgs, I think they're called werborgs. There we go. Get much more 90s than that. But the interesting thing is, in the stories in Marvel Comics Presents, they would take a lot of risks and try really interesting directions, like be it a story with Wolverine illustrated by Sam Kieth being super trippy, or this one teaming up 2 characters that have nothing to do with each other. The neighbor's dog that just won't stop barking. And then we go to the third story is actually a story that revolves around Spitfire, one of the ex-members of, I think she was on the Invaders, old colleague of Captain America and Union Jack and the original Human Torch, where we have the Black Queen actually wants to feed on her. She's a vampire, wants to feed off her energy. She thinks since you got a blood transfusion from the original Human Torch, this is going to give her like an extra punch on her feeding. The story was also written by Dan Slott. Let me just see here. Yep, it's written by Dan Slott. And in the last one, actually, is a story that revolves around Mojo, who, again, I thought it was Art Adams' art. And so I was really surprised to see Joe Madureira. Mojo doesn't know what he's going to do with his transmissions. Obviously, he has to make these insane TV shows for the spineless ones in the Mojo universe. So he's like trying to think of the next hit show. And what he does is like his crew tells him, hey, why don't you film a reality or documentary of a day in the life of the X-Men? So they go there, it's all invisible. Get to see Wolverine, Colossus, Beast, what they do in their daily lives. Mojo's really bored. But then when they go into the danger room, he gets all the material that he wants. But the art from Joe Madureira, it's just fantastic. I just really love, for some reason, art from the late 80s, mid 80s. It's just the best for me. So I'm going to leave this video here. I'm going to dive into a couple of these Marvel Comics Presents. I don't have too many of them, but here's the back cover. You can see Mojo, Beast, and Spitfire. But they're a lot of fun. Like, again, they would take a lot of crazy risks and try new things in this series. I think it was a little bit tedious having 4 issues in just one comic book. I feel like you could have done 3 or 2. It would have worked much better. It would take forever to collect the whole story, so it would have been a pain in the ass. And even we get the original Weapon X story was cut up in a Marvel Comics Presents, I think. So I'm gonna leave this video here. I'm gonna stop rambling. See you guys next time. Bye.